Here we are in the hottest South Beach, where all kinds of new things are happening, including in the restaurant scene. So come on, join me as we go in and check out Khong River House. I sat down with John Kunkel of 50 Eggs to discuss what his vision was for this northern Thai hotspot. We were talking, John, about the genesis of Khong. This is not your typical Thai restaurant, not certainly anything most consumers have seen before.
We wanted to kind of make our own mark. One of the hopes we had for this restaurant was to really present an authentic representation of the food and to do it in a very approachable way. Many times as Westerners, we walk into an Asian restaurant and we're intimidated by the ordering process. The decor or music is unfamiliar or not comforting and not welcoming. And so, I'm a big believer in the complete dining experience. From the moment that you park your car to walk in the door, everything needs to make sense for me, and Khong was certainly our biggest challenge of doing that, just because we were dealing with cultural differences and all of these challenges along the way. But we're thrilled with the way it turned out, and the diners have really responded to it.
When you looking at the menu, you have very distinct areas. Some of them will be familiar, we would expect to see, and some less familiar. We're so used to seeing Thai sushi restaurant, sushi, and that's completely different from what we have here.
Part of our job was to educate and to present a food like northern Thai food that has influences from Vietnam and Laos and Myanmar and Cambodia and China. It is the ultimate real fusion food, but to do it in a way that it kind of made sense to the diner. Thais really don't have appetizer, entree, dessert. So it was one of our biggest challenges we've ever had, and we certainly don't shy away from those things. I think as a company we gravitate towards the impossible sometimes.
Your bars are unlike any I've found anywhere else in that they're complete matches to the concept that you put into the food.
With the bars, I like the single spirit focus, but we certainly want to have a drink for everybody. With Khong, it was gin. It was a really fun thing to do because nobody was talking about gin at the time. There were so many different variations of it, and most people kind of skip over gin, but it's such a floral, great spirit to mix with all these bright juices and fresh flavors of Thailand. It was a no-brainer for us.
Today, I had asked you in advance of this to select a couple of dishes that you felt fairly represented Khong. Tell me about them.
Some of the items I chose today are really unique, and they've been new on our latest menu rollout. So we did something with a yellow curry, which really has a lot of Cambodian influence. Mama Pai, who's in our kitchen, is wonderful, and her family is really from the northern part of Thailand. And so this dish, like all great northern Thai dishes in Thailand in general, has a ton of influence from outside countries. Masaman has a lot of Muslim and Indian influence, but yellow curry really has these very unusual flavors and lots of turmeric. And it's traditionally served with bread. And when you think of Thailand, you wouldn't really think of white bread being served, but we can thank the French for that. And they serve it with really just this toasted baguette that is really just, you think about a gravy or kind of dipping it into the gravy, and it's such a great dish that really is unique and representative of that northern area.
You're preparing a papaya dish, papaya salad. And again, when we think of papaya here in the States, it's a fruit, it's sweet, and yet Thais take these when they are very unripened. What are you doing with it here?
It's green papaya, as you mentioned, which is really difficult to even prepare. They start by hacking into the green papaya, and so it almost turns into hair, and then they shave it off, so it's these small ribbons into the salad. And it's just such a crisp, fresh flavor with chilies and the vinegar and the shrimp paste and the dried shrimp. It's a delicious dish.
You also have chicken, ribs.
Of course.
With your own spin on it, of course.
So, but believe it or not, most of these approachable dishes like rotisserie chicken and ribs are very, you find them all over Thailand. Having these things like the rotisserie chicken, which is really a neat staple of the north, having the ribs with this special sauce, these are all things that Mama Pai and the rest of our Thai crew grew up with. So to be able to present them, which, hey, I know what a rib is, I know what rotisserie chicken is, those are great kind of entry dishes for us, where it allows you to be familiar enough with a product, but have these new and interesting flavors with it.
Now that you're open, Looking back, how would you describe the process you went through?
You know, I equate having a restaurant or opening a restaurant to kind of like, I guess, having a baby, as I would understand it, because you forget how hard it was and then you do another one. So.
So what are you eating, Miami?